3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, good evening. You're very welcome back to TTML Club on this Monday night here. A nice clear night at the Bahrain International Circuit. My name is Graham, and rejoining me, thankfully, it's Conti. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Really happy to be back after 2 weeks of not being present. Yeah, I'm all ready for this night race.
Yeah, Bahrain. Look, I mean, in league racing, I think Bahrain is one of those tracks everyone loves. Three DRS zones, long straights, side-by-side potential. It's a track that is quite challenging as well. I really enjoy for league racing, both as a spectacle and to drive. So hopefully we get a nice showing from the guys this evening, because yeah, this track, yeah, is, I think for many people it's one of their favorites. It's just a very popular track already, it seems like.
Yeah, it is. And well, just speaking for myself, it's a really demanding track. This always is a track when I drive it. Um, when the race is over, I got like really moist under my armpits and everything and around my back. It's really demanding track. It's especially the first couple of corners is always one to keep your head at, because one slip up of your concentration, you hit a curb there, and well, you can be gone.
Yeah, a couple of attractions that really do kind of test you. Obviously, coming out of not even so much coming out of one, but coming out of more so two as you unwind onto three, and I think you have that first DRS or second DRS straight. Exit of four, obviously, especially if you're side by side with someone, you want to be always, the approach to that is always very interesting, and you have to get the traction right there. The combination of five, six, and seven, especially you have to be very careful with the curbs, just so you don't again, more side by side potential there. It's quite, it looks a simple enough track, but it is quite intense sometimes. And you can, obviously, there are a few hair-raising moments at the likes of like turn 9 and 10, as well as turn 13, and heck, even turn 12. You know, you get on the curve too much on the right-hand side, a very fast right-hander, and that car is going around. So it's quite mentally demanding.
It is. But when you're full of confidence, it's a brilliant track to drive. If you got a little dent in your self-confidence, it can be a horror to drive. So, yeah, well, with 11 people, let's see where it's going to go.
Absolutely. And maybe you'd like to take us through the standings after last week's race at Singapore.
But of course I want. Well, in first position in the Drivers' Championship, we have Des Wessel on 65 points. Then in second position is Neymar Mich on 58 points. Frosty Kelvin is in third position on 55. Then we have Forza Brendan on 44, Kermit on 44, Legenda on 44. So that's really close there. Three people on 44 points.
Oh, very
Um,
blessed.
yeah, and then on 42 points, so not far behind that, we have Luke, and then Melgers with 35 points in eighth position, and I must say, a little bit out of position there, having seen the speed this guy has. Funky Chicken is in ninth on 34 points. It's Jamie on 33 points on 10th, and then Gelati, Ben Roygaard, and Speed JXSH21 on 0 points in 14th position. And
Bit
then,
of, oh, sorry.
yeah,
Carry on.
constructors wise, we have FTR Esports in first position on 100 points, CSL Racing on 99 points, so that's really close as well. X Esports in third position on 78, and just 1 point behind them, Washed Esports. You gotta love that name.
Uh-huh. That's my
LH
favorite. My
Esports
favorite.
in
That's my
fifth.
favorite team.
It is a brilliant name. In sixth position, we have Brum. In seventh, Mission 44. In eighth, the A team on 15 points. And then three teams on 0 points. That's full course caution. I really hope we are not going to see that here. Fentari Racing Esports and Ipswich Town Racing.
So there you go. Yes, Washed Esports by far my favorite team name. Frosty Calvin's gone quick as a 25.9 so far. I actually saw there was some interesting slipstreaming going on between Legende and Jamie. They were slipstreaming down the straight between 13 and 14, which is not the most common place you see slipstreaming. But they're able to, with the position of it, they were able to kind of give it back. So I think Jamie then did some for Legende then. So they managed to time that quite nicely. Don't see a ton of slipstreaming here, to be fair. And I'm kind of like, you think about it, given how long some of these straights are, especially that main straight, you'd be surprised. Yeah, surprised that you don't see a bit more slipstreaming because obviously it's a long enough straight.
Yeah, but you have to do the slipstreaming at the start of your lap if you want to do it across start finish, because the distance between the last corner and start finish isn't that long, but the straight is really long. I would do it the straight before that, coming out of the second sector, slipstream there. But yeah,
Mm.
uh, seeing the past and my predictions, they don't go well along. Don't go along well.
And look, you could go through all that slipstream down towards turn one and go a little deep or invalidate coming through turn two, and then all of a sudden, like everyone's work is immediately undone.
It is, and I must say, what I'm really well curious about. I mean, we only have 11 people, so if you have any decent speed, I would do the same as Luke, Brandon, and it's Jamie are doing, and try to start on the medium tire. Would you go for a soft or a medium starting stint?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because tracks. I feel like tracks where I'm always skeptical about starting on mediums at tracks where I know that you could do a one stop from, say, if you're a Silverstone for example. I wouldn't start on the mediums because it's a case where a safety car would. An early safety car, like everyone's boxing for the mediums to go to the end of the race and no one's
Yeah.
stopping again. Uh, a little bit less extreme, or sorry, a bit more extreme here because the tire wear is a bit more is a bit much higher than it is a Silverstone. Like forget the hard compound of Silverstone. Here it's actually you can actually use it. I mean, look if you're, I mean look I for the position they're in, I think why not? Seventh, eighth, ninth. If you're thinking you might not be closer to the front anyway, then I don't have any issues rolling the dice. And if a safety car comes out, then you try something different and it doesn't work. Sometimes you just have to go for something different. And if it doesn't work, look, it doesn't work. You just have to live with that. And if it does, then hey, that tire advantage at the end of races here, and this has always been the case. Tire advantages at the end of this race, it's a huge if you have that going in your favor.
Yeah, it most definitely does, and especially with a lighter car, you can pull off a slightly longer stint at the end. But as Benji now puts in a 127.1 on his medium tire, so passing Luke there, but Luke goes out on his soft tire, so probably didn't get too much practice in, and did a few practicing runs on his medium tire.
Yeah, see if he decides to keep that lap there on the mediums in the top. He's in sixth place currently, but that is with what two people having not set a time yet with Storm and Chicken, and we'll see. Well, Jamie's still pedaling around in this medium, so he's just about to box. So again, imagine some of these people who have started early on mediums here. You'd imagine that they'll try and go for a soft run. You can, like you say, you got Luke here for example, similar situation, just coming out on a set of the soft compound tires. He's just rounding the turn 13. We'll go on board for a lap of this. Why not? As 25.9 is still the time to chase from Frosty Calvin. And nice and gentle unwind onto this main straight, nice and long. Again, track. You have to be careful of the traction coming out of that last corner. You could very easily. I've seen it go horribly wrong in league racing before. But deep braking zone to turn one. You want to try and hit the apex as best as you can. Nice and smooth. Hit that one as well, and that's nice and clean from Luke as he climbs towards turn four. Usually you take a wide entrance here, and he does take most of the curb. Very clean on the exit. Doesn't use too much of the track limit on the exit. And sweeps in. Not afraid to kiss the curb there. And nice and clean heading down the hill. If you get too much on the outside on that one, you can certainly upset the car. And it's a very tidy lap so far from Luke. Let's see how he handles the triple left-hander. Again, nice and clean, an important traction zone, very clean there as well. So, assuming he can finish this job, this should be looking like a nice clean lap. Again, using as much of the curb on the outside for turn 11. You do see a few different approaches to that corner as well as turn 4. It just depends on what you fancy, really. It's a nice track like that. There's a few different ways to drive it. And I get the same with that corner as well. Heading into turn 13, you can either cut in late or There's a few different approaches you can go about it, but it's a very tidy lap from Luke, and I imagine this should certainly put him into the top five. I'd be surprised if it didn't, but let's find out. Run down to the line, and it is a one. Well, yeah, more than that. It's a 125.8. It's a very tidy lap, very clean lap, and now it's a very quick lap.
Yeah, really beautiful to watch how he just did hit every apex. So yeah, beautiful lap from Luke there, and sets a new time to beat. So let's see if Frosty Calvin, maybe Tam or this vessel can do anything about that. And we're still waiting on the first laps of Storm Kings and Funky Chicken. Who knows what they if they can pull a rabbit out of their head.
Yeah, Chicken on the fly. I think he started flying up on the medium tire, so maybe a sign of intent. Set time on the medium tire, and then maybe go out towards the end with a soft tire and see how the lap holds up. And if there's no one really improving to knock out the top 10, then you can just abort it. And if not, then you can complete it. But a little bit more on the edge, I would say, is Chicken on this lap than we just saw with Luke. But perhaps to be expected somewhat on the medium tires compared to the softs.
Yeah, of course, a little bit more understeery. Oof, as you almost lose control here, almost invalidates the lap as well, but he keeps on going. So, yeah, not the strongest lap, but at least he has a banker, or he can choose to go in straight ahead and change the tire compound.
We'll see if he completes it. Again, tough apexes there. He's going to see it through, so let's see where it'll put him. I imagine it'll put him towards the back, and it does indeed. 27.8 for Chicken. Now he is 10th, so he would start on that tyre, but it just depends if Storm decides to, when he decides to leave the pits and when he decides to set a lap.
Yeah, but well, I think Funky will get in and get out once more for one final lap on the softs there, but. Yeah, what's holding Storm Kings up? We want to see your qualification as well, Storm King. So get out of the pit box, on track, put in your lap. Come on.
5.5 minutes to go. Calvin's on another lap here, and his teammates close behind. I don't know if he got any slipstream. These guys entered the right way in Austria with a excellent car and helmet combination, and you can see that it's translating to extra speed. No, it's not. But Calvin is up on his time, but marginally might not be enough to go ahead of Luke. See if he's left any time on the table heading through last turn and that sector 3 section he just came through. Should be an improvement.
It's gonna be close.
Will it be enough?
Close. Oh.
Well, he must have lost it because 500ths in the end was he was down, so maybe not quite the cleanest run through turn 13. Although it looks fairly clean, but maybe that's a bit more time on the table there than he and maybe a little bit more time left there in sector 3 to have another go.
Yeah, but he still has time. And Luke, who's out there, Storm Kings decided to go out there, put in a lap in, I must say, on a PlayStation 5 with HDR, and this car is really, really shiny.
Oh, is it bright?
It's really, really shiny.
Oh, I wish I could see. Sadly, I'm on my peasant PS4 still, but I can imagine seeing how bright some of the brightly coloured some of the HDR stuff is on PS5. I can only imagine how bright it is. Get a pair of shades. He's on an outlap still, so he'll crawl around. Jamie's on a flying lap, it seems like, coming through sector 3.
So coming up to the final corner here.
Nice and clean.
Looks like a good exit. And is he able to improve on his time? He puts in a over a second. So in 7th position now with a 126.5, just 2 tenths behind Tem.
So unless he's got another run, I think that might be it for him. To be fair, unless he wants to take more out of the tires, which again, Bahrain's one of those tracks where you need to save as much of the tires as you can, and unless you want to, again, under normal racing circumstances without safety cars and the such. So I'd imagine, unless he's taking more out of the tires, that might be it for Jamie. So at least for the time being, he could go for another run. But for the moment, it's P7 as some of the others like Tam and Dus Vessel coming out for their outlaps. But of course, you're just on board with Storm, and let's go back with the very shiny purple.
The very shiny purple game over car. Shooting the corner there. So, yeah, not the best of first corners, but he has to go through because after this, or he has to abort right away. But looks like he's just going for it here. Taking, hitting his apex there, so not going too wide. And he is doing everything he can. He has to because he only has one lap so far. Staying well away from the curbs here, so he won't be spinning. And here again, let's see how he does. Well, in my opinion, the hardest corner on the game. Goes through nice and neatly. And now it would be nice if he had a slipstream here, but look at this, going all the way to the right here, taking every inch of the corner, trying to take as much speed as he can. Inside curb you have to watch out for as well. If you touch that, your car is gone. Cutting the corner a little bit here. And now coming up to the final corner. Storm Kings with his one and only fast lap. Ooh, almost losing control there. But he's still alive, and he puts in a 129.9.
So keeps him in 11th. Chicken's going to stay in on those medium tires, so he'll qualify 10th and line up on those mediums. And let's see who was first. The Vessel on a lap. He's on a flying lap, just coming down towards turn number 8. I'm not sure what assist Storm is using or not using. It would make sense if he's not using line and the such, based on that a very deep turn 1 there. But it was just with the Vessel still nice tidy exit. He's in 4th place, which is a little bit lower than we're used to seeing him so far. I say. Just a couple of hundreds behind Legende then, and a couple of tenths off of Calvin and Luke as he sweeps through the end of sector 2, and he is nearly 2 tenths up. This would put him certainly on the front of the second row. Is there more for him there to jump onto the front row? Has to get to the 25s to do so. 26-1 currently on the board. Clean exit there. DRS up to the line. And can he get onto the front row? Yes, he can.
Yes.
He can get to the very front of the front row. 25.866 for Dus Vessel, which puts him provisionally pole position for the time being as the checker flag is about to drop.
Yeah, just on board with Luke now, who is behind him. 5 thousandths of a second down on his time. He doesn't need much. I mean, look at that gap. It's only 16 thousandths of a second, and he's up there. So just needs a little bit in this final corner here. Can he get that? Opening up his DRS here, and nope. Luke is out of it. Now Frosty Kelvin coming up to the line. Is he the one to beat the time of this Vessel? No, he stays in 3rd as well. Legenda right behind these guys. He is the only one who can maybe challenge this Vessel, who's in first position now, coming through the final corner. Yellow flags there, not sure why. Legenda stays in 5th, so this Vessel's final lap was the winner for today.
Yeah, great lap. Very, very close to the top 3 there. Calvin did improve, but just wasn't enough to lift him ahead of Luke there. You can see the difference. It's only 9 thousandths. And then, like you said, only 16 then from Luke to Dus Vessel. So very, very tight. And Brendan not too far away either into the 25s as well. And Legende improved, but very minorly in the end there. So, in the end, Dus Vessel at the very end there taking pole position. So, great lap from him. A bit more of what we were expecting before heading into this last run then. So, great lap from him. But certainly all to play for given how close it is between the top 3.
Yeah, and within the top 5 as well. I mean, only 3 tenths of a second between the top 5. So This if this is something, I think is going to be a thing in the race. So yeah, already looking forward to it. But qualification is done. Das Wessel puts his car in first position. Luke is going to be the second one starting from the first row. And then our Belgian friend Frosty Kelvin starting in third. Forza Brandon in fourth. Legenda in fifth. Tam in sixth. Kermit in seventh. Jamie in eighth position. Benji ninth. Funky Chicken on his medium tires. Benji as well. Starting 10th. And Storm Kings with a free tire choice starting in 11th place.
So there you go. So two guys on the mediums then outside the just the fringes of the top 10 there. And yeah, very very quiet qualifying for Tam and Kermit then, sixth and seventh. But if things are close up top and things start popping off, then it's all to play for. So we shall see how it unfolds in the next 29 laps, I believe, is the count here. 28 or 20. Actually, it's 28, I think. It's been a while.
We're gonna be seeing it now. I think it's 28 as well, but
Mm. Again, it's been a while. So only Storm then with the choice to make inside the top 10. I mean, may as well do something different, I suppose. Or alternatively, guys on the mediums in front. Heck, maybe mix it up with the softs. I mean, outside the top 10 is fresh pair. You're better shape than the guys on front, and see what happens off the start line. Maybe some decisions to be made from that point of view. Nice long run down to turn one here as well, so start's going to be key, as it always is, but more important here than some of the other tracks we have on the calendar at least.
yeah, and quite a well tight turn one as well. So
Mm.
um, you can sometimes expect a dive bomb here and there, which is okay as long as it's clean.
Yes, this is one of the tracks where it loves a dive bomb. This track at turn one here at the start, absolutely made for it. Monza is a very similar situation as well. So you have to be careful because you get if you compromise coming out of one and two, then you're vulnerable all the way up to three. I think we're going to see a lot of ERS being used on that hill up towards turn number four because yeah, it's important to get, especially because look, there's three DRS zones. This track isn't, I would say, as bad as some other tracks for DRS trains, but it can happen here with just the amount of DRS zones there are. Important to have that. So if you're towards the front of the train rather than the back, then obviously you're in a good spot. But obviously the jostling on lap one is going to be key. And so I don't think we're going. I think we're going to see people not afraid to use a DRS down towards turn one and turn four.
No, no, most definitely not. And as you said, if it's really close, which we saw in qualifying in top five is really close, uh, DRS trains can happen, but well, I mean, I'm all up for that. Just all fighting and doing because you have enough corners where you can go side by side and really long corners where you can stick your nose up the inside in a proper manner. So yeah, I just want to see these guys fighting it out. And again, you pointed it out a couple of races ago. I'm on board with or watching this Vessel's car. I really love this Red Bull livery.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Really is. Oh, yeah, very, very nice. And he lines up, he takes that beautiful Red Bull liveried car towards the front. Long run down to turn one. So if he gets a good start, use a bit of ERS, he should be in a good spot. Just move. I want to move across the inside a little bit to deter the any invitations to turn one because again it's a track where it's you don't want to leave the door too open here. And look, it's not the only corner on the track that is like that. You see people slip through the inside on turn through the triple left-hander as well at turn 10. People love to slip on the inside there as well, opportunistic. But certainly want to cover off any ideas. You don't want anyone getting ideas behind to send it. So let's see how he handles it then. We'll go on board with Calvin then from P3. And here we go then. 5 red lights. And away we go. It's a good start for Calvin. But this vessel's got away well. Luke then, the door's left open. He's going to go for it, surely. Down the inside. Nice wide entry from this vessel. Leaves plenty of space. Nice job, but he's a little bit slower off the corner than Luke, and Luke immediately uses the ERS charging up the hill towards turn 4. He's got the inside line. Can he make it stick? You can drive around the outside here as well. Will the Vessel be able to hold this? They're still side by side heading towards turn 5 and 6. And Calvin slips through then on Luke, and the Vessel is able to hold on to the lead. Great action heading through the sector 1 there.
Yeah, just a beautiful start of the race, but unfortunately, it's Jamie gone in a little bit of a hassle with Kermit and Benji, spun the car and is now 4 seconds behind these guys. Um, yeah, 4 seconds, 3.5. So yeah, let's see if he can come back. But now NSR Legenda, side by side with Tam here. He has the outside line, so Tam has the advantage here. But is he trying? He's still holding on the outside line, switching to the inside line now, but he slits in behind him, and well, that's our second fight of today.
Yeah, good action through there. Again, there's so many different approaches you can take to racing lines here, and it just allows really good racing. You saw that heading up towards turn 4, heading through turn 5 and 6 as well. How it all sets up from that turn 4 to the same through that sector 2 there. But Tam holds on for the time being, and across the line, does Vessel then. Not running away by any means, and look, no one's ever really too far away here. Even Jamie's not a million miles away, despite that start. As late on the brakes, Legende getting through. Didn't think he'd send it from so far back. Used a bit of ERS to do so, but Legende then moves up into P5, and Tam's going to hold on for the time being. Doesn't choose to fight, heading back up the hill.
Yeah, and it's really incredible to see how fast Legenda is on in a straight line. Ooh, I believe we saw a little mistake there for Forza Brandon, having a little snap oversteer, but he was able to catch it and able to continue. But now Legenda is right on his tail, waiting for another mistake to capitulate on that.
Heart and mouth stuff there. He just about got away with that, and he's still within DRS of the guys in front, but just tailing off a little bit now. As Brendan might have to use a bit more ERS, and he is using quite a bit of it down his back straight here just to keep within that range. Legende not too far behind him. Good start for Ben there on the mediums. He's looking in a good spot again. If you could stay within the DRS train, as we got Jamie and Storm off the track
Ooh.
there.
Yeah, Jamie going for the overtake on Storm, but braking really early when he just slid in front of Storm. So Storm hit the backside of Jamie, and Jamie was off again. I hope for Storm that he didn't pick up any wing damage, but I believe his right end plate is missing there, so he probably has to pit.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and that's the other concerning on the medium tires. If you get early damage, then it's a bit of a long stint, and your hards might not go to the end of the race. So Jamie comes into the pits though from the back. So we'll see what tyres he goes on. But at the front, DRS will be enabled this lap, and enabled for the first time. Oh, we've got a car off. It's Kermit off the track, heading up the hill, coming out of turn 3. His wing looks okay. Just has to get that gravel off of those tyres, and then be feeling it through this part of the track. But he looks like he should be okay.
Yeah, probably just went over the curb a little bit too hard and lost the back end, or he has a really aggressive setup and his tires heat up. But look at this, Legenda still on the back of Forza Brandon there and almost going in the gearbox with his front wing. So he really has to be careful to not get surprised by maybe a little bit of early braking by Brandon to get a good exit somewhere, and well, just the same can happen to him as Storm King and Jamie.
Could be interesting to see how these guys line up out of this last corner here, because there's DRSs. The first time heading down this main straight, DRS is enabled, and this Vessel is not very far in front of Calvin, who's got a lot of ERS to use as well. They're both on the actually, this Vessel is on the ERS quite early. Then Calvin closing in with his DRS. Will he go for the late lunge? Not quite. This Vessel used enough then to keep himself in a straight line, at least for the time being. But will he be a little bit more vulnerable heading up towards turn number 4? No DRS being used then from Calvin, but you see this Vessel having to dip into his reserves quite a bit and to stay in front for the time being. So Calvin hanging on quite nicely at this phase. Be happy to sit behind just for the time being. But a couple more instances of that, and this Vessel won't have much to fight with in terms of ERS.
Yeah, and I must say, Benji on the medium tires can keep up really good with these guys. So when the drop off uh, is going to happen for these soft tires, Benji's right there to pick up the pieces and maybe pick them out one by one with in the DRS zones.
Absolutely. Now, we're not a million miles from that point either. Lap four of this race, the softs aren't the most durable tire out there, so I don't think it'll be too long before we start seeing that. But again, that's the big challenge for the guys at Mediums is to keep up in the first few laps. You see, like chickens dropped out of range there. You see 3 seconds behind Ben there, and okay, once you're in the DRS, it's much easier to stay there. But it's just at the start of the race when you're dealing with a big delta in terms of the tire difference between the medium and soft. Then it's a little bit more challenging. But Ben's done a really good job there to hang on, and you can just sit comfortably there. Doesn't have to do any overtaking. You can sit quite happily on the back there. Just Vessel, fast lap of the race, and not under any real pressure heading to turn one, and didn't have to use a lot of his ERS either. So things just holding station at the front for the time being.
Yeah, this Vessel doing a really, really good job holding these guys behind him. But I think Frosty Calvin isn't in a big hurry to overtake him here. He can save up his ERS now, but almost full ERS. So I think we can expect an attack of him next lap, maybe the lap after that, when he has full ERS and well, just waiting for that to happen. And really curious to see what Luke and Brendan behind them are gonna do. Them are they gonna be attacking Kelvin, or are they gonna be staying behind them and unable to do anything because of well, the DRS train that's here from first position to all the way down to seventh.
Yeah, I think Calvin's definitely managing things at this point of the race. He won't want to let Tesla get too far ahead though. About 7 tenths the gap is at the moment. Doesn't want to get too far ahead there. But he is managing things nicely because as long as he got that DRS to Vessel in front there, he's got all the ERS like you said to play with. To if anyone gets a bear running him out of a corner, then he can just use some of that to defend somewhat here. So he's in a good place. But like you said, it'd be interesting what Luke and Brendan do. I think they need to be thinking more in terms of possible undercuts and what they might do there to see how they can maybe get ahead here of Calvin and Dust Vessel. Much higher closing speed from Calvin that lap, but Dust Vessel holds on for the moment.
Yeah, is he going to be trying it here like we saw Leclerc doing in Bahrain this year? No, he isn't close enough to make a move there, so still staying behind him there, able to manage things there. But I must say, this Vessel having to use a little bit of his ERS, but his base speed is fast enough to well, to keep in front of these guys without keeping anyone up.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have thought perhaps he would have been overtaken by this stage, but yeah, he's done well to hold on, even if he's had to use a bit of his ERS to do so. But that's what it's there for ultimately. Just have to careful not to use all of it in one go. Kermit came into the pits there last lap on the medium compound tyres. So first person to ditch the soft started on them, I believe. Apart from Jamie, but that was for a lap one incident. And Storm's coming into the pits to put on the hard compound tires. And they should go to the end from there, but he will need a safety car to get a little bit closer to the back to the fray here.
Yeah, this Vessel still in front. Well, coming up to the first DRS zone again, crossing start finish here, or the last one, just depends on how you look at the track. But yeah, now Frosty Calvin is really close, only 1.5 tenths, and this Vessel going for a defensive line here. Frosty Calvin on the outside here, but not able to pull anything off. So is he gonna go for a switchback here? Look at the overspeed. He has a great exit and has DRS now. So this Vessel using everything, every little bit of his ERS there to stay in front. But these were the first well, little punches that Frosty Calvin made to this Vessel.
Yeah, that was the first time he decided to try and go for it. He didn't really fully commit to his ERS heading down the main straight. He actually didn't have DRS heading up towards turn four for whatever reason. It wasn't, at least visually, I didn't see it activate there. So a bit of a strange one because he had the switch to make a good run, but the DRS just wasn't there for him. So that's a first attempt for Calvin, anyways. But I think he's signalling intent that I think he's finished. I think staying behind here and wants to try and get on with things here as you get closer to the end of the first stint.
Ooh, and you can see now that the grip on these rear tires are slowly starting to go because the exit for Frosty Calvin going into the corner, you could see in his steering input that he can't do any more snapping or he is losing it. So yeah, he has to try something here. Is he gonna go for a overtake attempt? Oof, again, snap oversteer here, which well cost him his attempt to overtake here. Or is he committing? He is closing in, but not fast enough, I think. This vessel going for a defensive line here. Are we going to see the same as we did? This vessel staying in front here, but there's another DRS zone at the exit of this corner. Ooh, a little snap oversteer again there for Frosty Calvin. Now, this is a proper battle, and I think this is going to be it. They are giving each other enough space on the exit as well. They're still side by side. Ooh, a little bit of touching there, but this vessel staying in front again there. But you can see Frosty Calvin really knocking on that door there.
Yeah, great job from the vessel to hold on to that. Used a lot of his ERS to do so, but the move coming back through turn 4 then was very, very nice. Excellent job from him. Calvin using a bit more of his ERS now. In fact, sector 3 is Storm. He's round at turn number 12. And see, Luke is it's kind of shifted a bit. Luke is in a good spot here with his ERS again. Brendan and Luke. I know Brendan's used a lot of his ERS. Oh, big snap there for Calvin, who's on this last lap or so is really on the edge with those tires. Are definitely going off. Big correction there, and that's going to allow Vessel to escape up the road a little bit. Calvin holds on to P2 for now, but certainly seems to be struggling on his softs more than the guys around him.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's where Luke's waiting for it to happen. But what is Frosty going to do? He's going in for a new medium tires, and behind him, Forza Brandon on the same strategy. And because these are multiplayer cars, you are able to do that. You're in the same team, but not in the same pit box. So both going for the medium tire here. Ooh, Frosty Calvin on my side took a little bit longer, but still in front of Forza Brandon. And are they able to make this undercut work here? We'll have to see if Das Wessel, Luke, Legenda, and Tam are going in probably this lap.
Yeah, so they decided they were done waiting around behind there, and interesting that both of them came in. I wonder if they both knew they were coming in and just hoped that they weren't going to be in the wrong in the same pit box. But interesting that both went for it. They are in clear space. Of course, Brendan a little bit less so, given that he's behind his teammate. But anywho, now Luke is the car behind Dusves, and he's really close to that Red Bull liveried car coming through turn 11. And I just wonder if if the remainder of the top 4 here will go for the box. Ben, of course, we know will go on. He's on a different strategy here, but see who stays out, or if they'll all come in. And if they do stay out, can Luke get them moved on? I have to imagine at least 1 or 2 of these are going to be boxing this lap. Let's find out. And Vessel stays out, Luke stays out, Legende pits, and Tam stays out. And a change for the lead at last. 10 laps. Vessel's held on. 9 laps, I should say. And Luke then nice and easy. Oh, and Vessel's got extremely deep. I think he avoided contact though. I think he just about avoided it. But a massive moment there, and Luke will be able to escape out of the DRS range as a result.
Yeah, and that's what you want, making an overtake happen and immediately drive out of the ERS as Storm Kings is driving around outside of track limits. Probably has some kind of damage or something there. And I must say, Tam was really close to this vessel, but it doesn't seem like he really wants to go for an overtake there because he just maintains that little gap. Ooh, having a little bit of oversteer there. Tam on the exit, so his tires are going as well. And well, strategy-wise, Frosty Calvin and Brandon is 1.1 seconds in front of Legenda, so that one worked.
Yep, so Brendan just behind his teammate. Be interested to see where these guys file into the equation. Lap number 10 of 29. As it turned out, it was 29, not 28. Oops. Stick with your gut. And Luke is peeling into the pits then, and Vessel will not follow him. Tam will, and Ben will carry on. All right, then let's see how it works here. I think Luke was a net P3, and he was ahead of Brendan. So let's see where he ends up here. Tam was kind of behind these, so I expect him to kind of remain behind here. But let's see where they are. They're coming out of the last turn now. Calvin should get this fairly routinely. But can Brendan jump Luke? Coming out of the pits, and it's going to be close, but Calvin's overspeed should take him through. They're going to feed into turn one.
Oh, only just.
Close, but can... Oh, he's not going to have DRS actually, is Luke, because the detection point, yeah, wasn't there, so he's using a bit more ERS to try and make this move. He's going to go for late on the brakes. Is he? Brendan's got the corner. Oh, he got Legendi on the outside here as well, coming into the equation. Didn't even see him on the outside there. Beautiful helicopter shot I'm seeing as we go through here, and Legende has to file in then. So Brendan then jumps Luke for that was effective net P3 right now. Oh, and this vessel is getting
Ooh, and
overtaken by
this
Ben.
vessel, yeah, Benji with a beautiful move there. It kind of surprised me because you don't see too many overtakes there, but yeah, Benji going for a beautiful overtake there, and you can really see that the soft tires of this vessel are really falling off quickly here. I mean, he can't keep up with Benji, so he really needs to pit, picking up a penalty there as well, which well can be really costly at the end. But I think. He pitted one lap too late. You can see him struggle here as well, and he's coming in now for his medium tires.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he left that one lap too late, and the penalty is rough because this is not a track you see a lot of penalties picked up at. There's only a few places you can really pick one up, and you don't see a massive amount of penalties taken here usually. So that could be a very costly one in terms of both his decision to stay out and, as a result, obviously to pick up the penalty. And Luke is going to go for the move here on Brendan. He's going to get by. No ERS required there. And you can see Legende trying to get into the mix as well. This vessel is far behind these, so again highlighting that maybe this wasn't the best option. We'll see how that comes out for him at the end. But Luke, Brendan, Legende, it's all to play for.
Yeah, definitely. And well, Luke making the overtake, but Brandon wanted to defend against Legenda there, and they were three wide and touched a little bit there. I hope they all came out of it unscathed, but it was a little bit scary to watch. I really thought well, or either Brandon or Legenda would, well, be put in a barrier, but they are still alive and fighting it out hard as well. And Luke really wants to run away from Brandon now, but Brandon in that DRS, still in the DRS zone, and well, that's where you want to hold on, and maybe Luke can pull him up to his teammate Frosty Kelvin there.
Yeah, Luke seems to have a little bit more pace at this phase of the race. Wants to try and get back within the DRS of Calvin, which of course he was for the entire first stint there. Tam's actually on the back of this little battle as well, and he jumped Dus Vessel by a few seconds as well. So that's Tam then ahead of Dus Vessel. Tam was just sitting behind there. He was sitting just in front of. I think he was just in front of Ben, wasn't he? He was the last of the soft runners, I think, on that train, and now he's ahead of Dus Vessel. So it just shows you how kind of wrong things went for Dus Vessel on that stint. Luke sets a fast lap 29 flat for him. Nothing changing into turn one here. But Tam now very much on the back of this little squabble as well.
Yeah, and this vessel really needs to make a move on. He was 1.7 seconds behind Tam, but Tam is in the DRS train, and this vessel is slowly falling off. 2.3 seconds now. You can see every straight, every DRS zone, he falls off a little bit there. So, yeah, he really needs to give it, well, his everything to get back into that DRS of Tam, but it is going to be really tricky. And Tam, on his side, really close to Legenda there. So, yeah, Tam knocking on the door as well.
At the front, Ben minding things nicely. 8.9 seconds clear of Chicken. Safety car would be huge for him in terms of at least making a mandatory stop. You would have to go into the hards instead of the softs, so there would be a disadvantage from that point of view, but certainly be interesting if one came out at this phase of the race. Chicken having a very quiet outing here so far. He's in P2, clear of Calvin, of course has made a stop, but kind of nowhere in terms of far behind Ben on the same strategy as Calvin's basically hooking the extreme right on that main straight for reasons, but because he's not within there, he doesn't have no one behind has DRS at the moment. Though Luke has crept up just a little bit, it's 1.3 seconds, 1.2, and Brendan, Legende, Tam are all still relatively speaking close in the action here. So, and Luke is bringing all these guys with him essentially as he closes this gap on Calvin.
Yeah, and I think if Brandon wants to make a move, he has to do it quickly because once Luke is in the arrest range of Frosty Calvin, we're going to be seeing the same as we did well for the first 10 laps when Des Wessels was in first position. It's only the one in second position in the DRS train who was able to maybe make a move. The ones behind them just going to be stuck there.
And this vessel is closing that gap a little bit. It's 1.7 now. It was over 2, just creeping to 1.8. So he is closing minorly. It's tough to close up though when you've got 3 DRS zones and everyone in front. Oh, and Legende's lost it on board, lost it through turn 12. He's able to save it and keep it out of the barrier, but that's a big blow for him. He was right in the hunt there. And those mediums let go very early on him there. That's a surprise. Maybe just the line he took was a little off, but very odd to see the mediums go so soon through that corner.
Yeah, especially after he did, what was it? 12, 11 laps on the soft tires there. So yeah, really weird. But well, he's still alive. He doesn't have to go in for a new front wing, so he's still in there. And Brendan now really closing in on Luke. The gap between Luke and Frosty Calvin stays well relatively the same between 1.5 and 1.3 seconds there. So yeah, Brendan going there, but if he makes one mistake, Tam is just right there to pick it up, and this vessel only 1.5 seconds behind these guys, so he's closing in about 2 or 3 tenths a lap now.
Yeah, and he'll need to get back within that DRS range for sure to be in play a little bit later on and see if his tyre difference can help him. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Legende, who was looking quite scrappy at points in this race as well, looking punchy. We're interested to see him in the mix there, but for now he's a little bit off. So he gets back into the rhythm of things, and yeah, everyone kind of just waiting for waiting for the pit stops on the media. More so Ben, just to see where he filters into the equation here, and obviously he'll have some overtaking to do on the softs, but obviously they're a tyre that should give him a good chance to fight in the last phase of this race, and it won't be too long now before he comes into the box. Then we saw the vessel went a little bit too far in his tyres about. Actually, hold that thought because Brendan is charging through, using as much of ERS as he can to take the place on Luke, and Tam's going to sit in behind here as well and see if anything kicks off. Has to get very early on the brakes. I'll allow just Vessel to close up a little bit, but excellent exit there from Luke as they charge up the hill. Brendan holding the inside line. Can Luke? Oh, he just needed to worry about driving on the outside. He's absolutely forced his way through straight line speed. Just no need to worry about lines and approach to turn 4, and he takes back that P4.
Yeah, and he had a beautiful exit as well there. So yeah, good to see these guys fighting. And it actually looks a little bit like Leclerc and Max Verstappen overtaking in the first DRS zone and well, regain your position. The DRS zone after there. But yeah, if they can keep this up, because it didn't take them a lot of time to with well, fighting and scrubbing there, maybe they can DRS train themselves closer to Frosty Kelvin. And look at this vessels, 1.2 seconds now.
Yeah, that was big for him just to get a little bit closer, and one more little exchange like that. Ooh, and just vessels on the raggedy edge there. One more exchange like that, and you can certainly see him entering this equation as well. But for the time being, has to again live through the kind of pain of the straight line speed that these guys are enjoying with the DRS. And Tam is going to go for the move this time around as Chicken comes into the pits. Tam is going to use some of his ERS. Very, very close with Brendan. Will he get through? Yeah, he gets through, but how's Brendan's exit? It's good, but oh, he's lost it. Brendan's lost it into the barrier. He's managed to hold it somewhat.
Whoa.
Somehow managed to keep all 4 tyres on the car. I don't know if he got wing damage, but I can't see. It doesn't look like he had, but they certainly out of the equation. He limps along the outskirts of the track. I think that will be it for him. Some insult to injury with the 20-second time penalty for just going wide on the track. But how did you see that? Was that just a racing incident?
Yeah, I must say I was on a camera angle where I couldn't really see the incident. The only thing I saw was Brandon going well, really, really wide there. But so yeah, can't say anything about the incident, uh, to be honest. But what's interesting is Funky Chicken went in. He's on the soft tires and he's 6 seconds behind Legenda now, and that means he's 13 seconds behind, well, the little train of Luke, Tam, and this vessel. So, how much time can he make up on these soft tires?
Yeah, you have to say maybe P6 could be in play for him, and we'll have to see how that unfolds. There's a long stint on those softs, and you see Ben extending his stint on the mediums. I imagine maybe the next lap or two we'll see him in. So Chicken's gone a little early on those tires, and they should get to the end, but they won't be feeling too amazing. You just see Ben's wanting to maximise the stint as best as he can. He's got a 13-second lead over Calvin, so he'll come out what 9-ish, 10 seconds or
Between,
so behind.
yeah, but between this vessel and Legenda somewhere, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting if he filters in the middle of this little gaggle, if he'll filter. Like you said, there's a nice little space between this vessel and Legenda. He should filter there, you'd imagine, and see how much work he has to do in these last 11 and a half laps.
Yeah, and Forza Brandon they're in for a new front wing and soft tires. Uh, Still in this fight, 10th position, still points to be picked up there. So yeah, really disappointing for him. I can imagine the way well the battle ended with Tam and Luke, but he still keeps going. So yeah, my respect to you, sir, for just keeping the car there and keep on going, even with the 20-second penalty.
Absolutely. Leader is in. Ben is in for his one and only stop. Puts on the soft compound tyres as Tam goes with the move on Luke. This is for P2 now. So Tam then, having sat at the back really, a P kind of 5-6 range for the opening stint of the race, as everyone else jostled in front and held position. He was at the back of that train essentially, apart from Ben and his mediums. He's now up to P2. So Tam has bided his time here and kept it clean. And now he's not a million miles away from P1 either.
No, he isn't. I mean, 1.3 seconds. So Kelvin still able to maintain that little gap that he had and keep these guys outside of his DRS. But Benji only 6 seconds behind this vessel now, and 2.3 seconds in front of Legenda. So he came into that little gap, and you can see on every exit of the corner, he just wins 2 or 3 tenths. So yeah, you want to make everything of your tire, but he still has to go for 10.5 more laps. So you really want to have some rubber on those tires to be able to battle as well in the end.
Yeah, he's under 9 seconds off the lead of this race as well. So he's tearing into that time. He's got so much more confidence on those soft tires. And why why wouldn't you? You know, it's such a when you get onto that fresh softer compound to end the race. It is a very, very sweet feeling. So he is absolutely going for it. But like you said, once he reaches these cars, he needs to have something to be able to fight with. And they should be able to last to the point where he reaches this gang up here. But you just see how far he can progress up it. And look at this. Tam now is in the DRS of Calvin, who's again 2 lap older mediums. I think that will come into play here towards the back end of this race.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think Frosty Calvin made a little mistake there because he was 1.3 seconds in front of Tam there. Now Tam is right on that bubble, so let's see if he can, if he is able. Oh wow, look at the exit
Struggling.
around this corner here. Frosty really is struggling on the exit of the corners here, so let's see if that's the same on this corner here. Again, he just takes out 1.5 tenths here out of the lead. So Tam is really flying. He's taking Luke with him, and I think we're going to be seeing a battle, well, next lap between Kelvin and Tam, and seeing Tam or Kelvin struggling there. I think it's going to be all there for the picking for Tam now.
Absolutely. Yeah, not good news for Calvin if he's struggling on these tyres. There's another 9 laps to go once they complete this one. So not great. We'll see if the ERS situation doesn't look good in Calvin's favour either. Tam certainly having more, and will he dip into it? He actually might not need to. Let's see if Tam's going to go for the move here. This is for the race lead. He doesn't need ERS. He goes down the inside. It's going to be a little bit late on the brakes. I'll allow Calvin a switch back. Can he get one? I mean, have turn 2 and 3 as well. He has, but doesn't have DRS critically. That Tam has the DRS there, so he'll hold on to this race lead. And now, 21 laps in, Tam has finally moved up to the lead here. He's bided his time beautifully, and now let's see if he can make an escape, or will we see it back and forth for this for these final few laps.
Yeah, and what a really patient race it has been for Tam. He's been just waiting and lingering there in fourth, fifth position, and when his chances came, and they came, he took full advantage of them. And seeing his ERS advantage, if I was him, I was gonna be trying to get Frosty Kelvin out of my DRS, but I must say this is a beautiful opportunity for Kelvin as well to well, just build up his ERS again, because he was really low, as we saw well, last lap around with the overtake of Tam.
A couple of guys closing in on their softs. Ben is just just second and a half behind this vessel, and Chicken has gradually taken time out of Legended, and that'll be for P6. Very quiet P6 that might be for Chicken, but alas, getting the job done. But a bit more time to make up before they can get into the DRS. Calvin then close to Tam, but nothing doing heading down towards turn 1. Tam should have enough. Yeah, he uses a little bit of ERS off the exit of the corner, and that should be him safe heading into turn 4. And now Luke's going to have to bide his time a little bit behind, but at a certain point very soon they're going to be very conscious of the fact that Ben is approaching on his softs. He will be within the DRS of this vessel very soon. In fact, maybe by the next DRS zone. And I can imagine it won't take too long for him to dispatch that Red Bull liveried car. And after that, then it's letting the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, it is, and if this vessel can keep up with Benji, maybe stay in that ERS or DRS, he can be taken to this battle as well, because you can see he's just right on the ball with it, but he isn't able to just get those 2-3 last tenths of a second that he needs to, well, to get into Luke's DRS here. But Benji really close now. Vessel nothing to defend with. Yeah, he's ERS, which he's using now, but he's almost out of it. So I think if Benji has a good exit here, it's gonna be easy pickings on this vessel. Right behind him now, opening up his DRS, rear wing fully open, doesn't even need ERS. Alongside him now, and this is one of the easiest overtakes you're gonna see tonight, but is he able to immediately close into Luke and Frosty? I think Benji.
He's off.
Ooh, this vessel's off. Did you see what happened to him?
Yeah, just lost the back end coming out of the corner. That was it. I think he was, like you were saying, like I think he was going to try really hard to follow him, and just lost the back end. And yeah, any chance of a good points finish is now gone with that instant, because he's got a 3-second penalty to contend with. So he's ahead of Legende and Chicken, who are squabbling for P6, but that 3-second penalty really is going to make it difficult for him to keep himself in the top 5. So that's unfortunate for the championship leader. Just lost the back end, and that's a shame, because if he could have pulled himself along, he could have secured P5 essentially, because that penalty was always going to be tough. But yeah, shame for this vessel now. He's got a bit of a fight on his hands to keep P5 now.
It is, but look at this, Benji. Benji's looking really hungry there, as it's Jamie gets a 3-second time penalty as well. But Benji's looking hungry, and well, he knows he's in a DRS train, but I think with the tires he has, he can brake so much later. He has so much more grip mid-corner that he can. He's the only one in this little train who can try to make a overtake happen here outside of well DRS straights essentially. Is he gonna try it now? Yes, he is. He's pulling up alongside Luke now, and I think he's gonna be the one braking later. Yes, he is sliding in right behind Frosty Kelvin, has DRS again on this straight. So yeah, that's one done and only two to go for Benji.
Yeah, Luke didn't really fight that too much. Didn't really use his ERS. I think he knew that there was going to be a tough fight for him. So Ben then moving up through the field. Calvin is next. 14 lap old mediums on Calvin, so it's going to be difficult for him to defend. But he will have DRS. And as we were watching that, Chicken overtook Legenda then for P6. And he just keep within 3 seconds of this vessel, and that'll be a handy P5 for Chicken, despite how lonely his race has been for the majority of the proceedings here. But look at the exit from Ben, and Calvin actually putting away the DRS for a moment there, but I think Ben is just waiting for the main straight before committing to more ERS usage, but he is just hounding the back of Calvin, and this is run out of 13. It's good. He's going to try and commit here, I think. Gets off the ERS, so maybe just thinks better of it. 27% for Calvin versus 40% for Ben. And now he's going to commit to it. Now he's going to go for it. Both of them using their ERS. Is it going to be enough for Calvin to keep Ben behind? He'll be able to brake so much later, like you said.
Oof, 3 wide.
Inside line, because Tam is in the equation here as well. Oh, but the contact, it's a little sloppy, a little messy, but they managed to all survive. Luke on the back of this as well. And DRS then for Ben as he goes up the inside of Tam, who's got nothing to defend with. And Ben moves into the lead of this race. Can he hold a little bit of contact? But he is through, and that is Ben into the lead of this race. Now the only question is, will those softs hang on long enough to end this race to keep him there?
Yeah, well, that is the question because we still have a couple of laps to go. But for now, these tires look like the faster tires, and you can see it as well. Overtook Tam and Kelvin is 8 tenths away now, so he really wants to break away before the next DRS straight. They're gonna be closing in here, but in these corners with these soft tires underneath Benji's car, he is well, he has an advantage. You can see there 6 tenths, 7 tenths. Maybe on the exit 8 tenths here. So yeah, he really wants to break that DRS to 10.
He won't be under any pressure heading down towards turn 1, even if they hold on for DRS there. So yeah, Ben can see if he can streak away. There's a car in front, which I believe is the lapped car of Storm. So I don't think he'll have DRS, at least heading down towards down this straight. At least if he's within a second, maybe he might, coming up the hill towards turn 4. But deep on the brakes there was Ben that time round. In the background, meanwhile, we've got Funky Chicken trying to make a move on Das Vessel. This is for P5. Nothing doing for Chicken at the moment. See Legende on the back of this still. So P6 still for grabs here for Legende, despite that spin earlier. And the exit for Chicken, it's not quite close enough even with the DRS. But of course he doesn't have to make a move, doesn't have to try anything that isn't a certainty, so he can just happily sit behind Das Vessel there.
Yeah, and a 10-second gap between Das Vessel and Luke. So yeah, probably it isn't going to be well, getting any better than 5th position for Funky Chicken here. But up front, Benji did it. He's well, 1 second, no, still DRS for Tam. So he was just in the right spot there when he crossed the DRS detection point. But now everything is starting to well, gap out a little bit between Benji, Tam, and Kelvin. Although Kelvin is coming back now, and Luke's still in there as well. And with the straight line speed we have been seeing with him there, as Storm King picks up a 10-second time penalty because he wants to get out of the way of everyone. I think if he can keep his tires in check and nothing weird happens here, it is a well, the beautiful strategy of Benji that wins him the race here.
Yeah, it's worked out very nicely for him so far, but a couple, still 3 laps to go. And yeah, Tam wide off of turn three there. It's not going to cost them in terms of a penalty or an overtake to Calvin, and at least for the time being, but has to be careful on those tyres. And Calvin's same situation. Those mediums don't look amazing, and Luke has a little bit more ERS to play with. But the key is that Calvin's got that DRS still. And as long as he has that DRS, as long as his exits off corners are okay on those tyres, he should be in a decent spot to hold on to that P3. But 3 laps to go here. It's but those mediums aren't looking especially good.
Yeah, and Tam really struggling now. You can every time on the exit of a corner, you can see him struggling and just grinding for grip there, which well isn't there in overabundance anymore. And that's even on fresher tires than Frosty Calvin. So yeah, these guys are just well trying to maintain position and get their tires in well keep them in the right window to finish the race.
2 laps to go. Once Ben crosses the line here, and just need 2 seconds in front now. There's a car off, which is Jamie. He's lost it coming out of for turn 8 there. And if Tam is struggling, let's see what his exit's like coming off of turn 2 and 3. It's relatively okay. We've got a lapped car of Brendan trying to come through as well. He's on the softs, of course. So always very distracting. This I always feel certain ways about this when you're in you're a driver in the midst of a tough, intense battle, and you have a lapped car coming through. Thankfully, it's a little bit easier to deal with because they're not they just ghost through, unlike previously. But Jamie's out of the race. That's a shame for him, just to lose out on some points before the end. Then he retires from P9.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It is really annoying when a car is ghosting in and out of you or just in front of you. Oh, as Frosty Kelvin is
Oh,
losing it. Oof, he just kept it out of the wall there, but big mistake. And Luke got scared because of that and did go into the wall there. So everything, all these tires are just going off now. Luke really struggling, Frosty really struggling. Tam already was struggling here, so these guys have to well just give it their all to get it to the checkered flag.
Luke has no front wing. I tell you what happened. I was on board with him. The Calvin's car he lost the back end, and that just speared into Luke, and what's what put Luke in the barrier. So a driver error from the driver's put Luke in the barrier, and that's a shame. He's gonna have to. Oh, will he even bother boxing? I wonder. No, he's gonna carry on just because 1 lap left. Although he has got Dus Vessel and Chicken and Legende close behind, so Luke going for contending for a podium, he's going to be lucky to finish in P4. He's going to be lucky to if I imagine he's going to have a hard job to hold on to this, but we'll go on board. Chicken's decided to bide his time behind here, and he doesn't have to do anything here, but they both have to be careful of the stricken car in front. You can see, it's just pure understeer. There's nothing Luke is trying to do there to this vessel. It's just pure understeer, and he gets out of it, and so they get through. And the Gentile fall. Oh,
chicken!
Big moment there. Big moment. It shouldn't cost him in the grand scheme of things. Legende's not close enough. Luke is obviously hampered by wing damage, but so yeah, nothing really will change the result. But a bit of a heart and mouth moment there for Chicken.
Oh yeah, he almost lost it there, but he is still within the 3 seconds. So with the penalty this vessel's picked up, he is going to be finishing in fourth position. So that's even a place higher than we've predicted there because of well just the hard. Oof! As now Luke and Storm Kings, I believe, touched there. So yeah, another race to remember. It was all going okay for him there until the second to last corner. But now Benji crossing the finish line in first position. Beautiful race from him. Tam ending up in second position. Frosty Kelvin in third. This vessel is in fourth position, but he is going to be falling back because of penalties. And Funky Chicken will be picking up fourth there. And then Legenda in sixth position. Luke without a front wing, ending up in seventh position, and then the only one we're waiting for now is Kermit and Brendan.
Yeah, so there you go. Legendi was disappointed not to get Dus Vessel. He was within 3 seconds of this vessel for quite a bit of that last stint. He'll be pretty disappointed to miss out by 4 tenths there. But there you go. Kermit crosses the line, and actually Brendan unlapped himself actually ahead of Ben there. So it was just him we're waiting for. I believe he does have fastest lap. He does indeed. So this would just be for a bonus. 27.5. No one really got close to that. 28.3 was the other good time there for from Ben. But of course, Brendan made an extra stop there towards the end. So, anywho, you'll come across the line to finish in ninth place. Disappointed, given that he was in the mix there as well. But yeah, very very interesting race. That one again, nice to see a safety car free race. Drivers kind of choosing a little bit of strategy variance, and there you go.
Eventful race, and we've seen some good racing. So again, these guys are just making my evening great again.
Absolutely, it's been very entertaining, and that was no exception. So few in numbers, but not few in great racing moments. He had plenty to watch there. And very well deserved win for Ben. That strategy paid off very nicely, and the key really was hanging on to the DRS and that first into those guys in the softs and staying there. That was really what kept him in play. Whereas the likes of Chicken fell away, and Chicken had a very good result in the end, but definitely the key there for Ben was keep within that DRS then that first stint.
Yeah, most definitely. And I must say, also, besides winning the race, I think he's my driver of the day.
Oh, absolutely. From ninth to first, the overtakes. Yeah, absolutely. He's driver of the day and completing the race in a very blessed 44 minutes ahead of Tam, who did a great job himself to get to from sixth to second. He did really, really well there. So fair play to Tam for moving up to the second place from sixth there. Calvin then starts third, finishes third. I'm sure he might take that in the end. Chicken then up from 10th to finish fourth ahead of Vessel then, who couldn't convert pole, but he'll have to be content with a fifth place ahead of Legende, Luke, Kermit, Brendan, Storm, and then we lost Jamie a few laps before the finish.
So yeah, starting with 11, ending up with 10, and some memorable moments as well. I mean, we've seen some great wheel-to-wheel racing here, some mutual respect here, some drama as well in the end. I mean, you'd rather not see it, but well, it makes a good race great. So good job to these guys here, and well, already looking forward to next week's race.
Yes, absolutely. And next week is the finale of TTML Club. It is round number 6 at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. So that should be extra entertaining as well. So good, strong finish then to end F1 2021. My thanks to Conti for joining me. It was a fun race as always. And yeah, thank you for joining us this evening. And until next time.
See you next week.